Coming up on the ZTV Sports Report, we'll catch you up with both of the Akron women's teams and how they fared in their first round of conference games. We also take a look at how the men's soccer team did with their set of home games, which included two top-rated teams in the nation. Everyone get excited because the ZTV Sports Report is starting now. Welcome to a brand new edition of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for everything Akron Zips Athletics. I'm your host, Camryn Justice. We have a great show planned for today to get everyone caught up with what has been going on around campus. Let's start off with the women's soccer team. The Lady Zips would play their first Mid-American Conference game against the Northern Illinois Huskies on September 22nd at Cub Cadet Field. The Zips would go into the game with a record of 1-6-1, suffering a 2-1 loss against Duquesne University. Northern Illinois would score twice in the first half of the game. Haley Hopp in the 22nd minute and Kylie Dominguez in the 36th minute. The second half would resume 2-0 until Akron's Erica Schrader would find the back of the net following a free kick. The Zips would continue on trying to get back into the game but came up short, losing 2-1 to the Huskies. The ladies would then follow up their second conference game against Western Michigan on September 24th at home. The first half would be a deadlock for both teams, both pushing back and forth with possession of the ball. The Zips would take 12 shots in the first half but just couldn't find the back of the net. In the second half, it would be more of the same until the Broncos would score 2 goals within 4 minutes. Western Michigan's Victoria McCartney would hit the ball into the back of the net from a corner kick in the 77th minute. The goal would be followed up by an Ashley Garcia goal in the 78th minute to secure a 2-0 victory over the Zips. Akron's record would fall to 1-8-1 on the season, with their conference record being 0-2-0, dropping them to last place in the MAC East. The team will travel to that state up north for their 2 games against Central and Eastern Michigan. The Zips will return to Ohio on October the 5th for their Wagon Wheel Challenge game against arch rivals Kent State and Kent. Moving on to the women's volleyball team. The University of Akron's volleyball team opened their Mid-American Conference play on September 22nd against school rivals Kent State. The Zips would lose a close first set, 27-25, but Akron would bounce back in the game by running off 3 consecutive sets, including a thrilling 25-23 win in the final set to win the game. Kayla Gavouche had 12 kills and Emily Wygand had a whopping 33 assists. Akron would go on to play the Ohio Bobcats the following day on September 23rd for their second MAC game of the season. The Bobcats would take the lead in the first set 25-15, only to have Akron answer back in the second 25-18. The last 2 sets would be a real nail-biter, however. OU would win back-to-back sets to close out the game. 25-23 would be the score for both the third and fourth sets of the match. The loss marked Akron's first loss in the MAC. Their record is 1-1 in the conference. The Zips would go on to beat the University of Buffalo in New York and will return later this month for their matches against Miami of Ohio and Bowling Green. It's time for us to take our first commercial break, but before we leave you, here are this month's fixtures for your University of Akron sporting teams.
You're watching ZTV.
Welcome back to the ZTV Sports Report, and let's jump right into the men's soccer team. The men's soccer team would suffer a shutout at St. Louis, tying 0-0. After the game, we spoke to head coach Jared Embick about the draw, along with their 2 home games against number 21 UMass and number 1 Michigan State.
Yeah, we passed the ball around a lot and didn't really do much with it in the final third. We didn't run hard enough to create chances, and didn't really force the issue to get in behind them. So it was just a lot of us controlling the game and trying to prevent counterattacks. And in some ways we're unlucky, some ways we're unfortunate. They could have won the game in overtime, but we had a couple chances there as well. So it was a pretty boring game, to be honest. I think we've underachieved a bit here. We've had a couple good games and a couple so-so games, and we've been really inconsistent in the final third, which is usually our strength. So I think everybody's a little frustrated by the start. We've let ourselves down in a couple games and beat ourselves, but You know, we have a lot of big games coming up here, and we get to play at home. When you play 4 of your first 5 on the road, it's very difficult to get that good start. But, you know, now we're in position. You know, we play good teams coming up, and really good chance to make a run at it. You know, they're American East champions. I think last year they only lost 1 game, and they return a lot of talent, and I think they're a program that plays good soccer, and it should be a game where we got to be challenged defensively. But, you know, they're coming to our place, and for us, this will be a great win to kind of jumpstart the homestand and expect a very competitive match.
On Sunday, September 24th, the University of Akron men's soccer team had their first meeting against University of Massachusetts Lowell, ranked 21st in the nation. Prior to this match, Akron was unranked, but this glorious victory soared them into the scene, making them a force to be reckoned with for upcoming opponents this season. With this being the first time the opponents faced off against each other, there was a lot of room for speculation and curiosity of how the match would play out. Throughout the match, the Zips showed their dominance through their diligent ball handling skills along with accurate passing. With this field control, the Zips were able to score 5 goals throughout the match and eliminated any chance from scoring for their opponent. The first goal was scored by Sam Gainford on a loose ball following a shot attempt by fellow Zip David Ebgo. Ebgo had redemption later in the match with a header into the net with an assist from Joao Montinho. At the end of the first half, the Zips led the match with a score of 2-0 in favor of the Zips. At the start of the second half, the Zips came back with the same energy from the beginning of the match with accurate passes along with aggressive defense on the field. Sam Gainford won his second goal of the match by dodging UMass defenders and finding his opening in the box. The fourth goal was drilled in by Nick Hines completely outside of the goalie box, bringing the score to 4-0 in favor of the Zips. Although the Zips offense was unstoppable, the victory wouldn't be possible without the efforts of the Zips keeper Ben Hunt. Throughout the match, he had 2 saves including a penalty kick from UMass which could have been fatal. Even head coach Jared Embick commented on Hunt's efforts and improvements from past games during a post-game interview.
He's got his confidence, he's starting to get his form, and you know that's only going to help us in these games the coming weeks.
A 5th goal off camera was netted by Ohioan freshman Jackson Crawford, which is the first goal in his college career. During the post-game press conference, Akron native Shane Wyatt shared the feeling of playing at home for the Akron community. Sam Gainford and Coach Embick discussed the future of the team following this shutout victory.
I mean, it means everything, especially being a local guy. You really get the feel of the community and their support, and going out and showing up for them is big.
It's been our strength early part of the year. We've been really strong, and you know we haven't given up a multi-goal game, and all the goals we've given up have been restarts.
We just need to keep on improving. Today was a lot better than the weekend. If we can keep going in this direction, we should be good.
On September 27th, the University of Akron's men's soccer team, fresh off the heels of dominating UMass Lowell earlier in the week, squared off against the #1 team in the nation, the Michigan State Spartans. The Spartans came into the game undefeated this season, their record 7-0-1, with only conceding 1 goal thus far. This would be Akron's 5th opponent who ranked in the top 25 teams in the national polls. The Zips would come right out of the gate in the first half, pressing the Spartans wherever they had possession of the ball and making the most of their own chances as well. Akron Nick Hines would dance his way through the Spartans' defense, lose possession of the ball but find Akron senior Nate Soltz, who would find the back of the net. Score: Akron 1, Michigan State 0, in the 16th minute of the first half. But the Mayfield, Ohio native wasn't finished there. In the final minute of the first half, Stuart Holton would whip the ball into the penalty area, just outside the reach of the MSU keeper, to find Sky Harder, who would lay it off to Soltz, who would tap it into the empty goal. Akron would exit the first half with a commanding 2-0 lead over a Michigan State side who only registered 1 shot on goal. At the start of the second half, Michigan State looked to be more alive, pressing deeper into Akron's final third with more looks at goal, keeping Akron's keeper Ben Ludd on his toes. It wouldn't be till the 71st minute where Akron Nick Hines would grab a goal of his own. bursting into the penalty area, getting a bit lucky with a deflected shot. But you don't see him complaining. Showing a little love to the AK Rowdies. 10 minutes later, Michigan State would catch us off guard and sneak one past keeper Lunt in the 81st minute, a bit shaken up afterwards after colliding with Lunt. Score 3-1 Akron. Just when the game looked to be done and dusted, Akron's 14 would drive down the left wing, pass it into the 18 while Martina would drive past MSU's keeper for the fourth goal of the game, leading the team in a Ronaldo celebration. The game would end Los Blancos 4, Spartans 1. Head coach Jared Embrick, along with Nate Soltz, talked about the game during the post-game interview.
Yeah, I just want to thank the students, the fans, community. Tremendous support got behind us tonight, and yeah, I thought the first half our energy and our pressure really caused some problems. They made some good adjustments to the second half, and we had to get reorganized a little bit there halfway through. But you can just tell when you want to win and you want to compete. You find a way to make plays, and collectively we had a great effort, and they had a heck of a goal for the one goal they got, and but our effort was phenomenal, and I think that was the key. The first half was the key.
Following their dethroning of the Spartans, Akron would go on to beat St. Mary's from California to extend their record to 5-2-1 on the season and be ranked in the top 10 teams in the national poll. Time for us to take our last commercial break, but when we come back, we'll catch you up with Akron football news, along with a little fun our friend Nick J and myself had with a member of the track and field team. Welcome back to the ZTV Sports Report. The men's football team's form has been free-falling for the last 2 games against Iowa State and Troy on September 23rd. Coach Terry Bowden spoke to the press about the loss and how they hope to bounce back on September 30th against Bowling Green, who remain 0-4 for the season.
Yeah, we're looking forward to getting into the MAC conference. Players have had a good Monday and Tuesday practice, and they seem to have know the excitement of getting into the conference. We've had two tough losses against two very good football teams, as far as Iowa State, losing to Iowa State. And the kids played very hard. Players played very hard in that game. And then last week against Troy, who had won their first 10-win season in their school history as a Division I team, and coming off a bowl victory last year, we played them, and they scored in the last minute to beat us there as we were winning 17-16. So, two tough losses against two good football teams, and I thought our players showed a lot of played very hard. We have to continue to get better, but we look forward to it. We look forward to getting to the conference and take the next one on. But they played very good opponents. I think our team can clearly see who they play and how they play, and know that they have had a schedule very similar to ours, and so they are a very good 0-4 team. And like I said, both of us see this as our first conference game.
Best of luck, guys. Before we end today's show, though, we have a special segment where we put our friend Nick J up against some of the best athletes here at the University of Akron. Our first featured opponent is a member of the championship track and field team. Enjoy our first installment of Nick J Don't Play. I'm here with Akron Zip's track athlete, Adam Downing, who runs the 400 hurdles. Adam, tell me about yourself.
Started track when I was in junior high and just continued to do that all the way through college.
So what brought you to Akron to run track?
The coach. She kept with me, and I had a rough high school track season, but she kept with me and allowed me to come and run track.
And what do you like most about Akron and the track program?
I love the camaraderie. We are very diverse. I love that. We're a family. It's a family away from home. I'm 2 hours away from home, and it just feels like I have family here.
So you do the 400 hurdles. We're not doing that today. No. What are we doing today?
We're doing half of a 110 hurdle race.
So much less than you're used to.
Yes.
How confident are you feeling in this?
I'm confident.
You don't
I'm
think
confident.
Nick doesn't stand a chance today?
I saw him warming up. He's a little rough on the form, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, well, let's get into the competition. So, as you saw, Nick did in fact lose to Adam. Adam, how do you feel about your victory?
Pretty confident. I heard him on the first hurdle right next to me, so I sped up a little bit, and then as I learned later, he ran around 2 hurdles instead of going over them, but I still won, so that's all that matters.
So Nick, you have anything to say about your cheating?
All right, first of all, I just want to say, I got scared after that second hurdle.
We could tell.
Yeah, I got a little nervous, so I was trying not to have this, because this is the moneymaker, end up right on the track and then have everybody laugh at me. So cheating, a lot better option.
So can we just admit to everyone now that you are not as good as an Akron Zips hurdler?
I am not as good as an Akron Zips hurdler.
And one last congratulations to you, Adam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for beating Nick.
No problem.
That concludes our show for today, but before we go, make sure to check us out on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube page at ZTV Sports Report. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for everything Akron Zips athletics.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. To find out how you can make Emmy-winning media, visit the UA School of Communication online. ZTV. Make media. Make a difference.